Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. Today, I'm going to be covering the new Tier 9 Premium Battleship, Triunfante, or Triunfante. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, specifically in Spanish, because as you can see, well, I guess you kind of can guess what nation ship this is, right? With all the flags everywhere. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Spanish flags on this ship, which is pretty good. For the price of the ship is available in Battle of Santiago, the Cuba premium containers. The price of these containers is 1,250 each. If you get 5, it's 5,625. So that looks to be the only way to purchase. It does not say there's gonna be a direct purchase option for the Triunfante, unfortunately. So it looks like it's a gamble ship. Well, there it is. Some of you will get really lucky, I guess. Some of you get really unlucky. So anyway, let's actually talk about the actual ship performance. You might notice I'm running Pascual, Cervera y Topete on this one. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's the Spanish unique commander. I'll make a dedicated video for Pascual, potentially tomorrow. Or potentially, it depends when this video is coming out. I guess yesterday or tomorrow, who knows. We'll see. To get the Pascual, it's collection 60. It looks like it's available in 60 elements, so you need to collect 60 elements. Duplicate elements can be exchanged for unobtained ones at a 3-to-1 rate. Complete the collection to get Spanish unique commander Pascual, Cervera y Topete. Okay, anyway, let's take a look at the commander build here. We've got gun feeder, brisk, heavy AP shells, adrenaline rush, emergency repair expert, concealment expert, and fire prevention expert. For my special traits here, we got resuelto, which is 2.5% reload buff. It can be activated 4 times. That means you can get up to a 10% reload buff. You need either assisted in 2 kills or destroying 2 kills. La orden se cumplirá. We've got activates when your ship loses 75 or 50 or 25, or at least, sorry, it has 75% left. You get a little, basically you get a little heal, you get a quicker DCP and other consumable reload time, and you get a quicker heal cooldown time. And then every level it stacks. Okay, so for our build here, continuing, main battery mod 3, concealment system mod 1, prop mod 1, aiming system mod 1, damage control system mod 1, and main armaments mod 1. You notice we have an F key, modified shells. Modified shells will give us a 40% increase AP damage and a 10% increase HE shell damage. Looks to be the reload time remains the same. However, you are losing your range down to 14.5. So you do have to be a bit closer. But 14.5 is not that close for the damage you're getting out of it. Your shell alpha damage with this buff is 19,404 with super heavy AP shells. For the armor layout, we've got 32 mil armor, 40 mil deck, 32 side and 32 aft. Citadel, waterline, pretty much right below the water it seems, so a bit hard to hit. That doesn't mean you can show full broadside because you do have a high freeboard. HP, we got 83,400, 23% torpedo protection damage reduction. Main guns, we've got 9 406 mil guns, 29-second reload, big alpha damage with the buff. Without the buff, 13,000 alpha damage, not that high. Maneuverability, 34.1 knots of top speed, 970 meter turning circle radius, 17-second rudder shift time, and for concealment, 13.6. For the exterior camouflage available for the Triunfante, we've got this gray and white camouflage, and we've got those Spaniard flags. Additional Spaniard flags. If you have a steel camo on board, you keep the Spaniard flags on top of the turrets, but not on the hull. That being said, let's head into the game in the Triunfante. Here we are in the game in the Triunfante. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Triunfante or Triunfante. I might pronounce it a bit mixed in the match. Hopefully you guys don't get offended. But anyway, this is what the ship looks like in the game. Very similar to something like a Duncan, potentially. the tier 9 for the St. Vincent line. In terms of hull, I mean, the camouflage is, of course, a bit different. We've got the Spanish flags abound. Here, this Spanish flag on the back specifically is about the Spanish unique commander, which we are using this game. You might see some flares popping off. I'll be explaining them, I guess, when it happens. I do intend on making a dedicated video on the Spanish unique commander. So either that's before this or after this. I'm not so certain. Whatever. We'll see. Anyway, we got our first shot of the game off right there. We used our F key, you saw. The F key is a bit interesting. It says, by the way, in the port, it says it doesn't increase the reload time of the gun reload when you use the F key. So you pretty much get improved alpha damage for no reload loss. You just get the range loss. However, in the game, it does showcase that it does increase the reload time. But this seems to be a visual bug, because when I actually shoot with the F key on, the time, it does not increase. So to me, there's a bug here. Basically, I'll showcase it when I click F onto this Bayard here. You see it increases to 32 seconds, but you'll see when I shoot here in a second, it's still 28 seconds. So it didn't actually increase, which is really weird. It does seem to be a visual bug in terms of the in-game hovering over the F here. It seems like it does not actually actively increase the reload time of the shells, which is interesting, because that means under 14.5 kilometers, you pretty much get a massive 40% AP shell damage buff and a 10% HE shell damage buff, which is pretty huge indeed. The AP damage goes up to 19,404 with the alternate, which is pretty massive. Speaking of which, when you're playing something like Arms Race, potentially, you also have, I think, an additional, potentially even up to 30% damage, which would increase it up to, I don't know, 20, 23, 24,000, which is pretty huge. Actually, a bit more, maybe, who knows. But you have 9 shells, which is something to keep in mind. You do not have the mega overmatch that something like an Incomparable has, however. You have to, I guess, take that into consideration. It is 406 mil guns. But when you're fighting stuff like cruisers at tier 9 that you can Citadel, and you Citadel them for 19,404, I mean, you need to also remember, like, potentially tier 7 cruisers who have an HP pool of, like, 30,000, some of them. Okay, they have heals now, but, I mean, you literally get 2 sits and they instantly die, which is pretty wild. Even one sit and some pens will crush them for sure. The ship is actually relatively fast. It goes 37 knots with brisk. You notice I'm running the heavy AP, so that's going to make your fire duration extended. However, the fire damage per tick is reduced. You saw that massive 16,000 damage salvo right there. We actually end up getting some big salvos closer to the end of this game. This is not a live commentary game, guys. I'm sorry. Today, when I'm recording this video, it's Sunday, I believe, so I did not have time to, well, do a live commentary today. I just decided to play some games and then pick one from it. So, yeah. In this case, we're trying to use that reload. The F key, sorry, I'm calling it reload booster, but it's actually just improved AP damage and HE damage, and we get a massive 19,400 damage without the Citadel from 2 pens and 4 over pens. You see our first commander proc, HP regeneration there, procking on. We're getting a pretty much 20 HP per second heal for 10 seconds. It's not a lot, it's 200 HP. It's actually really tiny. I think it's more useful for something like Alvaro, because it's not percentage based in this case. It's actually just raw numbers. One thing to consider also is the fact that it gives you quicker DCP cooldown time, and it gives you quicker heal cooldown time, and it gives you quicker consumable cooldown time, other consumables. The buff is actually higher for the random consumables like smokescreen or speed boost. For the DCP and heal, though, it gives you a 3% buff per proc. It procs at 75% HP from the max, 50% HP from the max, and 25% HP from the max. We have our F key. At these ranges, you can pretty much spam your F key. You get a mega buff. You get 14,000 damage there. Unfortunately, we got mega overpens. We got 4 overpens and a pen. So we didn't really smash him too hard. Maybe not as hard as we wanted to. 68,000 damage. This game has a lot left, even though it does not look like a lot. So don't give up on the massive damage we could potentially farm. Who knows? You never know. Let's try go for this Duke of York shot. We only have 2 guns available to us because the 3rd gun was incapacitated. Let's see. Holding off here. Boom. All right, 22,000 damage. Pretty huge indeed. Swapping over to the Bismarck potentially, or the Scharnhorst 43. We gotta heal. The 200 HP heal. We also got the 3% additional there on the cooldown on the DSP and the heal. Pretty nice. I would say that's probably the coolest part. We also don't get any of it this game, but if you get 2 kills or 2 assisted in destructions, you will get a 10% reload buff. Well, 10% if you get actually 8, because it's activatable up to 4 times. So for 2 kills, if you get 2 kills, you get 2.5%. If you get 2 assisted in kills, you get 2.5%. If you get, for example, 4 combined, you get 5%. So it's activatable up to 4 times, basically. So it goes from 2 kills, 2.5%. Then 2 more kills, you get 2.5% over that, so it's 5%. And then 2 more kills, so 6 kills or 6 assists, and you get 7.5% buff on your reload. And then it goes all the way up to 10% for 8 kills or 8 assisted in destructions. It's quite hard, I guess, to get. But the fact that it's assisted in destructions as well as kills makes it significantly easier to proc, to be honest. So I don't think you should have a really hard time with getting those kills or assisted in kills with anything realistically. Namely, even playing, for example, something like Alvaro or Castilla. And that's what I'm hoping to cover the commander build or the commander in potentially a future video. So stay tuned for that. But boom, 16,000 on his nose right there. Because Duke of York, we overmatch pretty much everywhere. And he's sub 14.5 kilometers. So we can pretty much spam the F key. And we're going to get massive damage plus overmatch on this guy. Making us pretty much almost like an incomparable at tier 9. Except for the fact that, well, I don't know, actually, yeah. It is kind of like incomparable, I guess, except we have more shells. It looks to be we're not hitting as many of those shells, which is a bit weird. But anyway, 124,000 damage. Now, you might say you should go for the big kill shot here for the Duke of York. But the game is pretty much over. We're going to win. So I want to squeeze as much damage as physically possible, as pretty much a standard video on my channel is. So we're going to go for this broadside Bismarck instead with the F key activated. And hopefully we can land some big salvos, potentially finishing him off. Boom! 29,989 damage there. No sits, by the way, on a Bismarck. Up to 154,000 damage. Absolutely a massive salvo right there. Well done on the Triunfante. Or Triunfante. Anyway, I think it is pronounced Triunfante. I hope we have some Spanish people in chat or in the comments that can correct me here, because I'm genuinely interested. We got our little 2.5% reload buff as the game is ending, but that's pretty much the game. For personal score, we ended up doing 160,225 damage, a kill, an assisted in destruction, incapacitation, 59 shell hits, 3 planes shot down. We got Dreadnought and High Caliber. For team score, we ended up doing 1.5k base XP. Detailed report, 9k on the Bayard, 66k on the Bismarck, 54k on the Duke of York, 29k on the Scharnhorst 43, and 2 planes shot down. 115k damage received, and 160,000 damage from pretty much AP this game. And for credits and XP, this was the screen. Something I want to mention is, this was a tier 7 game, to be fair. So it made it quite easier to play, but this ship can perform pretty well, especially against broadsides at higher tier on higher tier ships, keep in mind. But this is the game I wanted to feature for you guys today. For my commander build, once again, Pascual, Cervera, y Topete. We got Gun Feeder, Brisk, Adrenaline Rush, Super Heavy AP Shells, Emergency Repair Expert, Concealment Expert, and Fire Prevention Expert. For my equipment, we've got that Main Battery Mod 3, Concealment System Mod 1, Prop Mod 1, Aiming System Mod 1, Damage Control System Mod 1, and Main Armaments Mod 1. And that is pretty much the Triunfante. Definitely a pretty good ship at tier 9. The fact that it can get 19,400 alpha damage on its shells is pretty massive, with no pretty much penalty except the range. So if you're brawling or getting up close and you just spam the F key, it can be pretty good. That being said, the fact that it's available only in random boxes makes it a bit hard to recommend, even though it's very good, because you might get unlucky and you might have to overspend for a tier 9 ship, guys. That being said, though, some of you will get really lucky on the ship and will be getting it pretty cheaply, but then again, it is hard to recommend certain ships when they're not available for direct purchase. And I hope you understand why. It's because not everyone maybe can afford such things, and maybe some people might fear FOMO, guys. Don't worry, you can play other ships in this game. Don't worry. It does suck that it's only available in random bundles, but it kind of is what it is. I mean, I don't control the prices, you know. I just kind of make the video and explain what the ship is about, so you know what you're playing against if you just see it in the random battles. I hope you enjoyed this Triunfante video. Definitely enjoyed playing the ship. Feel free to come on my Twitch channel and ask me to play it in the upcoming days. I'll definitely try to showcase this as well as the Spanish unique commander, the Pascual Cervera y Topete. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a sub, and a comment, as they will go a long way to supporting the channel and the content for free. And I'll see you in the next video. Big fan.